am going to start off with my first product. My face is freshly washed. I put my skincare products on. Maybe next time I'll show you what skincare products I use, but for now we're just going to stick to makeup and my usual makeup routine. The last time I did my everyday makeup, I've changed it up quite a bit and I am so happy of the makeup routine right now. I am loving it. I just think that it's much more lightweight. It's more natural looking. When it comes to my makeup, I just love more of the natural look, especially for every day. If I'm going to events, then I'll, spruce it up with either an eyeliner or a big, bold, bright lipstick or a dark lipstick. I usually play around with the lipstick more than the eyes. That's just my own preference. Anyway, we're going to jump right into the whole makeup. But before I jump into it, I just wanted to show you this gorgeous ring that I got from my gorgeous friend at Soul Eye Jewelry. It's this moon ring right here. How stunning is it? Oh, I have been waiting for this ring forever. She was so sweet and gifted me this ring. I am beyond grateful. It is so beautiful, so I wanted to share it with you guys because it's exceptional. She has other crystals you can do it with. There's amethyst. There's so many other stones she can use. I have so many of her pieces in my jewelry collection. I've also talked about her in my necklace collection. Her jewelry is exceptional. She handcrafts them and you should definitely go check her out. She has some beautiful pieces. So I had to share this because I know I'm going to get a lot of people asking me where I got this ring. I'm going to put all the information down below. The company name is Soul Eye Jewelry. You can write her any messages, DM her if you want something, maybe even a special order. Go check her page out. So many pieces. She has necklaces, she has some bracelets, some brooches as well, and some beautiful rings. Okay, now we're going to jump into the whole makeup part. All the products I got are pretty recent. I've been testing them out for the past maybe month, so to me it's pretty recent. I finally found something that I feel is me. It's just what I love. It's how it feels on my skin. So once I put my skincare product, I fell on Supergoop, and it is the glow screen, so it's the sunscreen. The first thing that I put is this one, and I am loving it. For those days you don't feel like wearing makeup, it just gives you a little glow, and I love my glowy skin. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put this on first. I put about this much. And then I rub it all in, obviously. Put your cream on. And I don't know if you're seeing it, but it's giving like a whole dewy, glowy look. What I like to do too is put it in my neck. Not only does it give you a glowy skin, it's also an SPF. I am loving this underneath the makeup. I also love to put it underneath my eye just to give a little bit of like a brightness underneath the eye. It just gives like a glowy look for like those summer days where you don't feel like wearing makeup, or you want more like you're running errands, you don't feel like stacking on the makeup. I think that this is such a nice and natural way to look. It makes the whole skin look healthier. I let this sit for maybe like a second and then I'm going to move on to my next product, and I have been loving this as well. It is the Milk Hydro, and it's a primer. It is very hydrating. It just keeps your foundation on all day. So I have been loving this. I started off using the travel size to try it out. That's what I love to do. I love to buy travel size, try them out, see if I like them, and once I like them, I go with the bigger version of it. So I love this. It definitely keeps my makeup from sliding a little less. So this is the next step. I do usually about 2 pumps. I focus more on the areas that I want the makeup to stay on longer. I'm gonna let this sit for about a minute. While I'm letting it sit, I usually put on my Laneige Mask, and I know usually people put this at night, but I love putting this while I'm doing my makeup so that when it's time to put on my lipstick, my lips feel a little bit more hydrated. I put it at night as well, but I also love putting it while I'm doing my makeup, just so it hydrates so that when it's time to put the lipstick, it just feels a little bit more, I don't know, hydrated. It's been a little while since I did my everyday makeup, and I thought it would be fun since I did change it up, and I did want to keep you posted on what I've been loving recently. I find that this is seriously my best makeup routine. I've tried so many different foundations, different products, but so far I am loving these. Now that this is set for about a minute, I say a minute, maybe 30 seconds, it sort of has this tacky feel, which I love. Just it makes me feel like as if I know my foundation is going to stick on there. But before I go about my foundation, this is something that I find works for my skin type. It's a preference, and I find it makes it a little bit more flawless looking. So I go in with my Sephora brush, and it's the 64. And then I take my Huda Beauty powder. It's called Pound Cake. I got this in a travel size. I've been using it for a while. This is my second little travel size. They didn't have it in bigger. What I normally do is I put a little bit on the brush and then put it a little bit everywhere all over my skin. This is before your foundation, and I know a lot of people do it afterwards. I just find it makes it a little bit more flawless. This is such a good brush. I use it for pretty much everything. My foundation, my powder, actually not my blush. It's just one of those good brushes that it's not too big, not too small, so it does go underneath the eyes and the little cracks on the side of the nose. I just bring it down a little bit. Next, before I do my foundation, I go in with my Huda Beauty concealer, and I just like to do my concealer before I do my foundation. I used to do my foundation before my concealer, and then I used to apply my concealer, but I find that this is more of a natural look, so I just put my concealer with this brush. It is the e.l.f. Eye Contour. It's this one right here. Love this. It's the perfect little brush to go into the corners. I just take my Huda Beauty concealer, take a little dab here, and then what I like to do is go right in the corners here and a little bit on the top of the eye, like this. And then I also like to go at the ends here. So what I like to do is obviously put it with my brush, drag it a little bit, and then I sort of bring it a little bit down to cover my dark circles. Yeah, as I'm getting older, I am finding that these dark circles are getting a lot worse. But I also noticed that the more concealer I put, the more it goes in those under eye cracks and lines, and it makes it look worse. So I tend to like to put some concealer, but still not stacking it on, because I just find it makes your under eyes look worse. My new thing is putting it in the corner, dragging it a little bit underneath the eye, and now I'm going to take my finger and warm it up and sort of melt it into the skin so that it looks more natural. I used to want to always cover my eye, like full-blown covering and no bags coming through, but now I'd like it to look a little bit more, I mean, there's not a huge difference, but there is somewhat. It just looks a little bit less like I'm tired and that my bags are showing. Some people have the bags where it gets puffy. I actually have the opposite. My under eye bags deepen and they get a little bit on the grayish side, but I don't have the puffies. Mine are more caved in. That's my issue, and this is what works for me. So anyway, I take the rest of the leftover here and I bring in here. I tend to avoid going in this area here because that's where, you know, our smile lines underneath the eye are, and every time I put it there I find it cracks more. So I'm going to do the other eye. Now that my concealer is all there, I'm going to put a little bit of the Huda Beauty and I'm going to go underneath the eye, like completely underneath, and brush some powder under there. Now moving on to the foundation part. I've tried so many different foundations, and to me at this moment I am loving the Clinique, and it's even better Clinical. It is so good. You can either put it lightweight or medium. I would say it's more of a medium coverage, but if you put smaller amounts I feel that it's more on the lighter, but I would give it a medium coverage. And if you want to put it like full coverage, then I would suggest keep piling it on. But it is so good. I am loving it. I take about a dab like this. I take the same brush that I used for the powder, which is the Sephora 64. I take a little bit and then I dab it. Then I start with my chin. Pretty much dab it all around my whole face. I did half of my face to show you a little bit. It's not full-blown coverage, but I think for every day it looks so beautiful. Here you're still seeing a little bit of the redness around the nose and, you know, the chin. And here it's just covering it really, really pretty. Kind of gives a little flawless finish as well. I mean, a little bit goes a long way if you're going for the more natural look. And then you bring it down onto the neck area. Now that the whole foundation is on, I like to go over it with my beauty blender, like pat it in. And then I go back with my Huda Beauty, take a little bit on my beauty blender, and again pat it all in. Once the foundation is done, what I like to do next is go in with my bronzer. Sometimes I use my contouring stick, but today's going to be one of those. I'm just running some errands, so I don't really feel like doing the whole contouring. I usually do that more when I'm going out or I have events. One of the contouring sticks that I like, which is from the pharmacy, I got it at Pharmaprix. It is the Catrice. It's the contouring stick in color warm brown. I usually love this one. I usually do that. I put it obviously here, I put it a little bit around my forehead, and I go along my jaw to give a more chiseled jaw. But I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to keep it a little bit more on the natural side. What I'm going to do now is use my Sephora bronzer, and it's this one right here. It is the color 02 Mallorca. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I love this. It has a very warm tone to it, which normally I tend to go towards cooler tones when it comes to my contouring stuff, but I don't know, I'm just loving this one right now. So I'm going to use my e.l.f. It is the pointed powder brush, and I love this just to put a little bit of the bronzer, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I usually put my bronzer on the top of the cheekbone, around the forehead, and I bring it down a little bit on my neck. Obviously where the sun hits your face and when you get a tan, where it normally gets tanned. And I go a little bit on the nose as well, and a bit on the cheeks. Pretty much everywhere. Just slather it everywhere. Okay, so next bring it down on the neck so that I don't look like I have a dark face. And then I even would bring it a little bit down on the chest just to tie everything all together. Moving on to the next step, I go with my Smashbox. It has 3 different colors. It's the pinkier blush that I love, and it's this one right here. I'm going to go with my Rare Beauty brush here. I think it's a foundation brush, but I love to use it as my blush brush just because it's a little bit more condensed, and I feel it picks up the blush a little bit better. I just take a little bit here. I start from the tip of the nose, and I bring it up all the way to the side of my temple. I go a little bit on the top of my nose here, and then again on the other side. I think it gives a whole youthful look. I know a lot of people are scared of blush and tend to think that it looks a little bit like the crazy blush lady, but I just love a good blush. You don't have to be scared. I'm not saying to like go all crazy and start putting a crazy amount of blush, but I do think a nice amount of blush gives you a more youthful look. That is it for the blush. Now I'm going to go with my Cocoa Contour Too Faced palette. What I do is it comes with like a little brush here. So I go into these 2 shades here, and I just go along my nose. And I'm doing a little contour of the nose, but very subtle. And then I go to the tip here. I bring it around the eye. I said this in my last video, that is a must for me. I used to stop at the corner there and it was looking like a hot mess, so I realized when I saw it in a mirror that it was just not good. So you bring it all the way up. Also just bring a little bit of bronzeness to the top of the eye so that where my foundation is, my eyes don't look completely like white. That's pretty much for the nose here. I'm going to go next with my Benefit, and it is this color here. It's like a sort of golden, it's like a golden pinkish highlighter. So what I take is I take the little brush here and I just go on the higher cheeks, and I bring it up onto the temple as well. I do the same thing on the other side. It just gives a nice glowy highlight right on the cheekbones. I usually use this one as well, which is the Jovia's. I usually take the Jovia's. I think I'm pronouncing that right. It's a highlighter as well. I think it's in a champagne color. I'll write all of the products that I'm using down below, so you guys want to try them out, you can go ahead and click on the link. So this one I love. It's like in a powder form, and what I love to do is sometimes I use it on my cheeks, but today I'm just going to do it on the tip of my nose. So I take a little bit and I dab just a tiny little dot on the nose there. I go a little bit further up halfway through the nose, and I bring it up like this. Obviously I just blend it a little bit so I don't look like I got like this big dot on my nose. It just adds like a little cuteness to the nose. It makes it a little bit more buttony and just so cute. But you can also use this. It's a beautiful color to use on the cheekbones. So good. I mean, I can show you guys. Let me show you what it looks like on the cheeks. So I'm going to take usually my beauty blender and I take a little bit on there, and I don't know if you're seeing it. If you're going to an event, I think it's so pretty. So this side, actually, it's looking pretty similar, but it's really not. In person, it's like a very intense highlighter, which I love. I look everywhere for intense, and I feel Benefit, the cookie color is so good. It is very opaque. That's what I was trying to say. It's very opaque. Some people like more of the natural look. There's a Charlotte Tilbury one that's beautiful as well that I was using. It's a liquid form. It's very beautiful, but I want something like has a little bit more punch to it and just really highlights the cheekbones. This is definitely one of those. Look at this. So good. I also like to go as close as possible to the corner of the eye. I just think it gives a little bit of a highlight there. The whole face is pretty much almost there. Now we're going to move on to the brows. I'm using the e.l.f. I believe it's in a taupe brown color. It's just a simple e.l.f. eyebrow pencil. What I like to do too is brush my eyebrows out a little bit before, because I feel sometimes there's a little bit of powder residue, foundation, so you either want to brush it or even take a Q-tip, a wet Q-tip, and just go over it. Next step, I love a big bushy eyebrow, and I know it's not for everybody. First of all, I already have big bushy eyebrows, so it's a little bit, I mean, they're not crazy bushy, but they're pretty big, and I actually like that. A long time ago I used to tweeze them to make them itty bitty, but right now I'm loving the whole bushy eyebrow. So I got this Kosas, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it properly. It's sort of an eyebrow gel, and I love this. It's thick enough to hold my dense eyebrows in place. It just kind of gives a little bit more volume to them. I don't know if that makes sense. I like to put it pretty much all over. To show you, it adds a little bit of some thickness to my eyebrows in the corners there, and it just manages them and kind of makes them look even more pretty. So it just finishes it off here. It also keeps them upwards, which I like this part to be up and then the rest of it to sort of fall like my natural eyebrow, but I do love the insides here to sort of spike up a little bit. I like to go the opposite of the eyebrows first. You kind of, you know, do the opposite and then you start placing them back. I feel that the product blends better into the eyebrows that way. I go back and then I kind of play around with them, to be honest. I just bring them upwards. And right here, I try to go as close as possible. Eyebrows are done. Moving on to the eyeliner. Today I'm going to do a little winged eyeliner for you guys. I'm using the Rare Beauty eyeliner. I am loving this. I got this about 2 weeks ago and I am obsessed. I even want to get my mom hooked on it. It's very smooth. It applies good. I had another eyeliner. I think it was from Formula. Which one was it? It was this one here. It was from Formula. I mean, it was good as well. It's from the pharmacy, but is it Formula? It's Physical Formula? Physicians Formula, that's it. Physicians Formula. And it was in black, and I also had one in brown, which I was loving this, but I feel that this one goes on, oh, like a dream. It just goes on so smooth. So I am loving this one right now. And it's in black. I do love my brown one, but I feel very Cleopatra-like these days. So I'm doing the whole black eyeliner. I like to put a little dot right here where I want the point to be. And I'm going to connect it, and I'm going to stop talking because or else it's just going to be all over the place. So, and then I'm going to connect it right here. So I did the first eye, and what I like to do is do it halfway. So I go right where the black in the middle of the eye is. So I started there. Well, actually I started from the tip and then go slowly inside the eye, but I go only halfway. I mean, sometimes I go all the way around, but right now I'm just doing half of the eye, and then I stop it right there. So this is what the eyeliner is looking like on the right side, which is the easier side. So now let's go on to the whole left side, and I'm not going to talk again because I am just a hot mess when it comes to my eyeliner. Let's go ahead and hopefully it'll look pretty much the same on the other side. This is as good as it's gonna get. Now I'm gonna move on to my mascara. I've been wearing this mascara for the past, I would say, year. I love it. I've tried other ones, but I tend to go back to this one, and it is the Ilia. It is in color black. I love it. So the only thing I prefer, actually, the travel size versus the bigger size. I feel the brush on the travel size, it just takes up a lot less product. The bigger one, for some reason, when I pull it out, I have to like play around with it because there's just too much product on the brush. So if I would suggest something, is probably getting it in the smaller travel size before getting it the big one. I feel the big one has a different feel to it. It's just too much that comes on the brush, way too much. So I love mascara, but I don't like it when it looks, you know, like a tarantula. You know, like just where it looks chunky. It's not my thing. A lot of people love to layer it on. I do 1 or 2 coats and that's it. And then I go back with a brush and I take the leftover, there's like little chunks or whatever off. It's just not my thing. Not on the eyelid. Adds a little flicker to the eyelashes. And I also put them at the bottom as well, just a little bit. And then what I like to do is go back with my eyebrow pencil, and I like to go over, I take my finger and the brush and I just sort of separate them. I don't like when there's clumps of any kind on my eyelashes, so I just like to separate them like this and make sure that they look a little bit more natural. So I'm going to do the other eye now. So eyes are done. Now we're going to move on to the lipstick part. I am going to use the Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheat in color Iconic Nude. Love this color. It's my go-to every day. Love it. Just sort of follow my lip line, and anyway, I'll show you guys what I end up doing. So I usually start not completely in the corner here. I usually start here and then work my way to the other side here. So that's what I do for the bottom lip. I mean, it's really close to my lip color, which I love, and that's what I wanted. I wanted a lip liner that was really close so that I can overdraw a tiny little bit, but it doesn't look like completely a different color from my lip shade. Then what I like to do from the top lip is start the same place where I started the bottom lip. I just find that whole look gives a more plumpier look to my lips, so I don't like to start from the corners. I feel it actually brings down my lips, so I tend to start a little bit before the corner of the lips. So I'm going to do the same thing, and then I'm going to slightly draw a tiny little bit over the line of my lip on the close to the Cupid's bow, a little bit on the topper part of my lip, and then I'm going to put my lips together and then connect them. So I draw one line like this. And then what I like to do is put my lips together and then I connect them like this. And then I just fill them in just a little bit here on the corners there. Then for my lipstick color, I got Makeup Forever in the color 152, I think. And it's this one right here. Such a beautiful taupey brown. If you want a brown that has a little bit of purpley undertones to it, this is your go-to. It's just so beautiful and natural, and I think it pairs perfectly with the Charlotte Tilbury Iconic Nude. And it's very creamy. It's like not drying, and I just love it. It actually smells really good too. So very natural. Sometimes I like to change it up with Kuo, a lip liner. This is more of a plum color, so it gives more on the plum purpley side. But if you want more of a nude color, then I would suggest going with the Charlotte Tilbury and this lipstick. But if you want a more plum look, then I would suggest going with this one, the Kuo Plum, and then these two. They're both beautiful. It depends what color you're going for. But anyway, I am loving this right now. So, oh yeah, final touch, I go with my Morphe Luminous Setting Spray. Love this. I feel as though my foundation has a little bit more of a matte finish. So to sort of balance it out, I like to use this Morphe Luminous, and it gives a little bit extra dewy finishing touch to my whole makeup. So voila. I'm gonna go back with a little bit of my Laneige, and I'm just gonna put it a little bit on the top just to give a little sheen to it. And that's it. So that's pretty much it. That's my whole makeup routine. I hope you enjoyed this. This is my sort of spring summer makeup. I feel that it's going to be perfect for the summertime. I won't feel my makeup is melting off my face. I love it. It's natural, it's pretty, and it's not too much. Well, anyway, I think so. But if you guys enjoy these types of videos and want to see more like this, comment down below. I will leave all of my products, the links to all of them. If I can't find them, I'll try to suggest other ones that are similar to it. So far, I am loving this makeup routine and I wanted to share it with you, and I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you all so much for watching. You are the best and I love you. I will see you in my next video. Love you guys.